Have you ever been guilty of procrastination? I know I have, many times. And have you also wondered whether there are evidence based strategies that you could use to manage your procrastination? Well, fortunately, there are. And in this short presentation, I'm going to be talking about 5 behavior modification strategies that are evidence based that you could apply to manage your procrastination. The first principle that I would talk about is reinforcement. And reinforcement is any stimulus that strengthens a behavior. And basically, there are two kinds: positive reinforcement and negative reinforcements. Positive reinforcement involves adding favorable stimuli that strengthens a behavior, whereas negative reinforcement involves removing aversive stimuli that again strengthens a behavior. And many people confuse negative reinforcement with punishment, although punishment is a different thing, and we'll talk about it later in this presentation. So how could you apply the concept of reinforcement to manage your procrastination? Well, you could reward yourself by, let's say, having a free time or going out on a dinner with your friends after you have done something important and not engaged in procrastination, right? You could reward yourself. So that's positive reinforcement. Whereas in negative reinforcement, you could skip negative or effortful stimuli. For instance, if you avoided temptation to procrastinate and you did your work, you did whatever you valued, whatever you thought was important, then you could reward yourself by skipping chores, by not doing your assignment for a day or two, right? So that's removing aversive stimuli. So that is negative reinforcement. Second, we talk about punishment. Although punishment is used only when no other strategy has shown any effectiveness, it can be very useful if done in a correct manner. So you could punish yourself healthily and in a controlled manner that could help you to avoid procrastination. For instance, if you engage in a procrastination period, then you could punish yourself by doing chores or by doing homeworks that you had been putting off, So activities that are effortful or that you are avoiding, these can be punishments which could help you avoid procrastinating later on in the future. Basically, punishment is any aversive stimulus that weakens behavior. Third, I talk about extinction. Extinction is that principle in behavior modification that involves not rewarding your behavior positively, so that gradually over time the behavior dies down, it extincts because it has not been reinforced. So for instance, whenever you engage in procrastination, you may reward yourself by watching television or partying with your friends or doing whatever you find enjoyable. So what you could do is you could not reward yourself for procrastinating. So whenever you find yourself procrastinating, you could just stay idle and do nothing if that's what you can manage. And what will happen over time is when your procrastination habit is not reinforced by parties and TVs and all those positive emotions, then the habit will gradually die down. The fourth principle is that of antecedent control. And basically what that means is, in behavior modification, there's a concept of antecedent, which is an event, a stimulus, a prompt that occurs before a behavior, which is an antecedent. And if you could manage that, then you could manage your behavior. So for instance, you may be tempted to engage in procrastination if you're surrounded by your friends who always like to party, or when you're surrounded by technologies that constantly beep with notification. You may want to check on your social media, right? So if you can remove these distractions, you could hypothetically manage your procrastination. For instance, if your goal is to study for a test and you constantly find yourself checking your smartphone, getting rid of that smartphone may help you engage in your study. And finally, one of the most important concepts in behavior modification, social support. It is very difficult to change your behavior in absence of support and praise and love and kindness from your friends and family. And so what you could do is you could talk to your friends and family about your procrastination, tell them what steps you are taking to manage it, and if possible, you could request your friends and family to keep you in check, to support you in this process, to help you strategize, and to get you on track, which is really important. So I hope you learned something from this video, and hopefully you will implement these 5 behavior modification principles to manage your procrastination. Thank you.